Welcome to Speak with Authority, where professionals refine their English to communicate with clarity and confidence. Most people believe that if someone has been studying English for a long time but still feels stuck, it must be because they're not talented with languages. But in my experience, that's almost never the case. Most of the professionals I work with are highly intelligent. Doctors, executives, engineers, entrepreneurs, people who are highly talented, educated, and very successful in their own fields. And yet, when it comes to English, they become stuck at the same level for years. They understand quite a lot, they can communicate, but sometimes it feels limited. And the question that keeps coming up is almost the same. Why am I still stuck at intermediate level? After teaching English for so many years, I started to observe a pattern. Many of my students were highly educated professionals, people who are extremely competent in their own fields. And yet, when it came to English, they felt so insecure. They felt slow, sometimes even embarrassed. Which is fascinating because these people are so confident in meetings, confident in their careers, and very capable in their professional environments. But the moment English enters that conversation, their confidence goes out the window. The problem is not intelligence. More often than not, the problem is how English was learnt in the first place. Many people learnt English through systems that prioritize things like memorizing vocabulary lists, studying grammar rules, translating sentences. None of these things are wrong. They can all be useful and sometimes essential, but they don't necessarily teach you how to think in English. And this creates one of the biggest traps for intermediate learners: mental translation. This is what often happens. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone asks you a question. You know exactly what you want to say. The idea is perfectly clear in your mind. But the idea first appears in Portuguese. Then your brain starts translating it into English. While you're translating, your brain is looking for the right word, the correct verb tense, the exact structure. And while all that is happening, the conversation keeps going. By the time you're ready to speak, the moment has passed. This is why many intelligent professionals say something like this: I know English, but I can't speak naturally. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is processing speed in the language. There's another very common situation I see with intermediate learners. They want to say something in English exactly the same way they would say it in Portuguese. The same structure, the same nuance, the same sophistication. But their English vocabulary hasn't reached that level yet. So they start a sentence and suddenly they get stuck. They're searching for a word that it's simply not there yet. This creates a lot of frustration because the idea exists clearly in their mind, but the language to express that idea isn't fully there yet. One of the biggest breakthroughs for my students happens when they suddenly realize something really important. Fluency at intermediate level does not mean to be able to say exactly what you would say in your native language. It means learning how to communicate clearly with the vocabulary they have now. You don't always need more vocabulary. Often you need to learn how to use the vocabulary you already have more intelligently. Another major barrier is the fear of making mistakes. Many professionals are used to performing at a high level in their careers. They lead meetings, they make important decisions, they are respected in their fields. But when they speak English, they feel like beginners all over again. And because they want to speak perfectly, they hesitate. They analyze every sentence. Sometimes they even stop mid-sentence to correct what they've just said. And that hesitation breaks the natural flow of communication. Another habit that keeps people stuck is overthinking grammar. Grammar is important, of course, but many intermediate learners have been trained to think about grammar before they speak. So before saying a sentence, the brain starts to ask questions. Is it present perfect? Is this preposition correct? And while the brain is trying to calculate the rule, the opportunity to speak disappears. Fluent speakers don't run grammar calculations in real time. They rely on patterns that the brain has internalized. So if you feel stuck in intermediate English, let me tell you something important. It isn't because you're bad at languages, and it's certainly not because you lack intelligence. Very often, it's because your brain has been trained to approach English in the wrong direction. Intermediate English is not lack of knowledge. It's often a habit of thinking in the wrong direction. And the good news is, your brain can be retrained. When you start retraining the way your brain processes English, something interesting happens. Your English doesn't necessarily become more complex overnight, but it becomes clearer, more natural, more fluid. And clarity is what truly creates confidence. Because fluency is not being able to say everything you want to say. Fluency is about saying what matters clearly with the English you have today. In the next episodes, we'll explore how to retrain the way your brain processes English so that you can finally move beyond that intermediate plateau. Thank you for listening. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone that has been stuck at intermediate level for far too long, because sometimes the breakthrough doesn't happen with more vocabulary. It starts with a different way of thinking.